Hi everyone, welcome to the event. I'm Tahir and I'll be the host for the event. How many of you are aware with Google Sheets? Just put a yes. I just want to see in the chat. So you get a rough idea. If you're aware with Google Sheets or Excel. Okay. So I will start from the basics, right? I'll try to stick to the basics as much as possible. But due to time constraints and because there are a mix of people with different experience level, I will be skipping some parts. And if you have any doubts, right, you can go to the World Cup dashboard that I've shared. Let me just share my screen. Yeah. If you see the sheet I've shared here, you can click this Slido link and add this code. This will let you ask anonymous questions, right? Just 1 minute. There's an error. Yes, so I am hoping you guys can see the screen now. All right. So the project today is going to be on World Cup data as the World Cup, Football World Cup, FIFA World Cup is going on right now. I thought it'll be an interesting topic to extract data from this and just make a simple dashboard. All right. So, but let's first go to the basics. All right. Any of you can use this. All right. Make a copy and keep it for yourself. Okay. This is totally open. So I will now go to the basics. Now I'll just create a random sheet and name it basics.
Tahir, just for the starting question, there is an anonymous question that what is the difference between Sheets and Excel?
Okay, good question. So Google Sheets is more collaborative. It's online, right? Online. It's collaborative, right? And because of this link right here, you can import the data into Python, right? And you can create dashboards. You can do that with Excel as well. But in this, you can create a dashboard and share it with others. I was going to come to this. So you can share, publish to web. I'll just quickly show you. So you can take this link, all right, and share it to whoever you want, right? You can create a dashboard. So for motorsports, I've created dashboards for tracking how the team is working to make everything automated. Does that answer the question, Anurag?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, cool. So the basics. So I've added a Tahir GSheets cheat sheet thing. Now let's go through these one by one. All right. So the thing about spreadsheets is it's not always recommended. If you have very large data sets and you have very large data, maybe like millions of rows, millions of instances, or millions of people, then it's not recommended to use spreadsheets because they have a limiting capacity because they have to both process and display the output to you, right? But when you do some kind of Python analysis, when you run a program in Python, then you only run the processing, and the output is only shown when you require it to be shown. And many of the Python libraries are accelerated by low level programming languages like C, C++, which makes them faster. All right. But then the reason why I use Google Sheets is for proof of concepts. If I want to make a dashboard in 10 minutes, I just want to get a rough idea of how it will feel if I make something like this. I can quickly make a dashboard and I will show you how to do that. All right. So in this, I've just added a few things I have, like number formatting. I'll try to get to this, but this is not that important. I just want to share whatever I have with you guys.
Just one thing. Are you recording the session?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. There is another person recording this as well as backup. So no need to worry. So let's look at basic formula. Okay. The very basic. So interesting story. Once I asked a junior of mine, how do you calculate the product to two columns? Okay, so I'll say column A, column B, column C. I want column C equal to A times B. How would you do? So a normal person, or at least what I assumed a normal person, they would take this, okay? They would take this times this and then get the output, and maybe they'll copy paste the formula down and they'll get it. Okay, fine. This guy literally told me, I will take this value, put it into calculator and put the product back into Excel. And I was really shocked. And that's when I realized somebody has to do this workshop. All right. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is array formula. Okay. I will tell what that is. So in this scenario, if you saw, I have 10, 1, 2 times 2, and let's say 30 times 3 or something. Now, rather than copy pasting the formula like this, and let's just say now suddenly I want into 10. Now I'll have to, update this or drag this down and stuff, or at a double tap. It's very inconvenient. So instead of that, use something called an array formula. Alright. So an array formula, let's look at the documentation of array formula. It says allows use of arrays and non-array functions. What does that mean? It basically takes input as an array, takes another input as an array, and calculates the product of calculates any function you want to do. Let's just say you want this column now suddenly a plus b. So rather than calculating the value of each row, it's going to take two arrays. So array formula, I will explain what this means. Right? So what this means? It's taking column the values from a2 till a, adding with b2 till b throughout the entire thing. And let's just say, oh, this 0 looks ugly. We don't want that. So what we do is we say a2 till a4, b2 till b4. All right. So if this is clear, just add it in the anonymous form, that anonymous quizzing thingy, that it was clear. If anybody has any issue, just say no, and I will explain. It's not an issue at all. Right? So now the advantage of this, what I was saying is, let's say you want to multiply this by 10. So rather than changing the formula, then dragging it down, you use an array formula. Right? So instead of doing this, I will just say star and give the product. Now this a2 colon a4, this method is not always the best, because let's say I add another row. Let's say 40, 50 here, and 10 and 3. If you notice, it doesn't come down here. So I don't want to go drag or anything. So what I'll do is, this is a trick I found that I did on my own, was I'll create array formula. Okay, I will say if is blank. I will explain, do not worry. If is blank, a2 colon a. Alright, if it is blank, then leave it as empty. Okay, else leave it as put the formula. Okay. Oh, there's an error. B2, A2 yeah, A2 colon A, B2 colon B. Yeah, this should work. Now the idea of this is basically, don't worry, this formula will be in that cheat sheet. It's basically, I'm saying, if a row is empty, if it is blank, then put just empty over there. Else do this formula. Alright. Now I usually don't require this. I don't need the empty, so I leave it as null. Null means like nothing is there. So this will be literally empty. Right? Okay. Anurag, did anybody say they have any questions so far?
No.
Alright. So array formula is one of the best things you can use to speed up your processing. The reason is because it's very familiar for us computer science students, because when we do any operation, we assume that the same operation is happening everywhere. The danger of using, normal a2 colon a star b2 colon b and dragging that down is, if you change a formula and then you add another row, there might be inconsistencies in the formula. This ensures that is avoided. Alright, that's array formula. Now this is not what I'm going to cover. I'm mostly going to focus on dashboard. So another application of array formula is to create automatic numbering. Let's just say you're creating a document. Let's say name. Okay, say Tahir, Anurag. Okay, Dhruv. So I don't want to do S number 1, 2, 3, because if I rearrange them, if Dhruv comes first, this is still 3. Then I'll have to again change it, which will be inconvenient. So instead, right, this formula, okay, A2 colon A100 row B. Yeah, this formula will automatically, just a minute, if it's blank, yeah, B2, yeah. So what this will do is, it's saying, check if this column B2 till B100 is empty. If it is empty, do not do anything. If it is not empty, then add the value of the row of A2 colon A100 minus 1. Why minus 1? Can anyone tell me why it's minus 1? Like in the chat. Okay, can you guess? Okay, so if I do not put the minus 1, it gives me 2. Can anyone guess why? Is the mic settings off? Because the first column is okay.
There's another question. That can spreadsheet be used as database like SQL?
Yes, it can be. That's one of the things. If you watch the poster, if you look at the poster, I've mentioned SQL there. I will be showing how we can use SQL database. I just wanted to clear up some basic Excel things, spreadsheet formulas. Yeah. Okay, so the answer is because if you notice this value, this row, what is the Excel row or the Google Sheets row? It's number 2. but I wanted to start from number 1, so I just subtracted by 1. Now let's just say I have another row here, okay, as something and something, I do not know. It just said I want the list to start from here. Now in this case it's giving me incorrect. Okay, now why could that be? I did the correct formula, didn't I? But no, why is this? It's because this row is number 3. We don't want this to start from here. We want it to start from 1. Okay, so basically just trial and error. Do not try to mug up any of this. It's pointless. Just trial and error. Okay, so this is automatic indexing, right? Formula. Natural join. Okay, now I will explain what a natural join is. Let's say let's say college. Okay, what college do Tahir, Anurag and Dhruv belong to? Let's say we all belong to bits. Okay, now where is the location of college? College. Okay, Dubai. Now if you see, there is unnecessary repetition. I'm having to say both bits and Dubai for each person. Now let's say more people are there. Let's say Anmol is there, okay, and Arshdeep, right? The more people I add, the more times I have to not only specify bits, also have to specify the location of the campuses in Dubai. So instead of that, we use something called as a natural join. Okay, Anurag, just confirm if you can see this, the drawing software.
Yeah, it's visible here.
Okay, so now rather than rather than saying A, then BPDC Dubai, okay, multiple times, what we're gonna say is we're gonna just have A and BPDC and get this location from a different table. Okay, now how are we gonna do that? So we'll have to create one table, okay, with all the names. Ignore my drawing because first time doing this. We're gonna have all the names, alright, and which campus they are in, campus, alright, and we'll have another table, okay, with the campus, oh my god, and the city, alright. So we'll have, let's say, Ahmed, okay, and the campus is BPDC, alright, and here we'll also have the location of BPDC, but we only have to mention that it is in Dubai once. Now you will understand what is the advantage. So I just wanted to keep this interactive, hence I'm avoiding a slideshow because lots of workshops have slideshows, but it's very distracting to watch because there's nothing going on screen. That's why I'm trying to do everything on screen. So rather than repeating Dubai multiple times, what we'll do is we'll create another sheet. Let's call this location of campus, let's say. Location. Okay. So now we're gonna be learning about a formula called VLOOKUP. Alright. Now I'm gonna find the location dynamically. Now let's add location. So I will say campus name, okay, and this will be city, okay, and let's say BPDC, okay, Manipal. I will purposely leave some errors because I just want to see if everybody is understanding the concept. I will purposely make some mistake and ask you guys what is the error. So BPDC is in Dubai, Manipal is in Dubai. Alright, so now BPDC, okay, we're going to be learning about VLOOKUP. Okay, VLOOKUP. This is basically a join operation. A join operation is basically to join join or merge a row from two different locations. Okay, so now search key. What are we going to look for? We're going to look. One of the best things about I like about Google Sheets is it gives you this hint. And if you have a doubt, just click expand details and it'll explain it further. Right. So now we're going to be VLOOKUPing this cell C2. Alright. And then what are we going to look for? We're going to look it for in locations table. Okay. So this is how you specify another table. Okay. A2 colon A. I will explain this. 1. Okay. And false. Do not worry. I just want to show it works. Alright. So now it got me BPDC. I want the location. So I'll click index 2. Okay. So it got me the correct location. Now let's understand how is this working. Maybe I skipped a step. Let's put this in the same sheet so we can understand it better. Alright. So if I want to find BPDC in this spreadsheet itself, I can just say colon F, okay, and I'll get it. Okay. Now if I put Manipal, I'll get it. Now if I change Manipal, the advantage is this: if I change Manipal, let's say it's in India, it'll update everywhere. You see? even though now I didn't have to go to each instance of all students and change it from Dubai to India or anything. So let's say now BPTC is in, let's say, US. So it updates. That's the advantage of using VLOOKUP rather than entering the multiple instances of the same data again and again and again. Alright, is this clear so far? Again, if you have any doubt, you can always ask on the Slido. I'll just pause for a minute. Shall I proceed?
Yeah, there are no doubts. Either on chat or Slido, you can proceed.
Okay, fine. I am going very slowly because these are fundamentals that you should know. Okay. So now I got this within the same spreadsheet. Now again, what is the problem here? The problem here is that I am typing the same formula multiple times, and we are majority of us are computer science students, or at least I am a computer science student, and I do not like doing this. The same formula again and again I have to write. So instead, what I would do is we used VLOOKUP, right? We're gonna use array formula. So let's do the same thing using an array formula. Equal to array formula, right? If I'm gonna check if this is blank, right? Is blank. Okay. Now, if it is blank, then I will not do anything. Okay. Don't do anything. If it is not blank, then I wanted to do something. Okay. I will just write something so we can go step by step. Okay. Don't do anything, something. Now, since I do not want the text there, I just wanted to show you guys. I am going to leave this as blank. Okay. So now we got it. Our array formula is correctly targeting our data. Now, I want to do the VLOOKUP. Okay. Now I'm going to say VLOOKUP. Okay. C2 colon C. That means I am going to look this column up in this. Right. So C2 colon C. Oh, this is the search key. The range is going to be this to this. So F2 colon F. What is the index? Okay. I'll put index as 1 and I'll show you. 1 false. Okay. Now, the first thing I want everybody to comment in the anonymous forum is why is there an error here? Okay. Quickly. Even in the chat.
There's a small doubt.
Yeah.
Someone is asking what is C2 dash colon C?
Okay, I will explain that. So C2 colon C is a range. Okay. So in Excel or any spreadsheet software, in Google Sheets, Excel, etc. If you say C2, you're referring to, okay, you know what? I'll explain here. If I want to refer to this cell, okay, the cell is the most atomic unit of a spreadsheet. A cell is the intersection of a row and a column. So here, this is the intersection, this cell is the intersection of column J and row number 2. So now the identifier of this cell will be J2. Okay. So now if I want this entire column, I will just say J colon J. J colon J means start from this, end from this, end at this. So you're gonna collect the entire column. Let's just say I want only the first 10 rows. Okay. So I will say J1 colon J10. And this will get me 10 rows. Now this is to select 10 rows. This identifies 10 rows. Alright. So here when I'm saying C2 colon C, I'm saying look up C2 colon C. This range, look it up in this range. Okay. That is what the colon means. You might be thinking, why is it not C colon C? It's not going to be C colon C because I don't want the formula to be applied on my title. Oh, another trick I would say, I would always recommend is always freeze the title rows. Okay, so select your row, title row, right click, okay, view more row actions, freeze up to row 1. This way, what will happen is if I scroll down, it will still be there. It makes entering easy. See, now if I do not have the freeze row, if I scroll down, I will not know what I'm typing, which column I'm typing. So just a tip, always, yeah.
Someone said to explain the formulas part once more. It's a bit confusing for them.
This array formula?
I think so.
Okay, whoever asked that question, could you just exactly tell what you didn't understand? Is it the VLOOKUP formula or is it the array formula? If you have any doubt, you can always refer. I loved you guys asking questions. It's just that due to time constraints, I would. Yeah. Okay. I would recommend you first referring to the cheat sheet. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Alright. So, okay. Now, an array formula, okay, is going to apply a formula onto an array of elements. Now what is an array? An array here is a range. Okay, so 3, 4, 5. Now let's just say I want to apply this column, these values into 2. So our normal method would be, you'll say equal to, select these values and you say into 2. Okay, into 2. Then you would copy the formula and paste it. Perfect. So if I change this, it updates. That's perfectly fine. But now what if somebody tells me, let's say Anurag says, no, I do not want it to be into 2, I want it to be 3. So I say into 3. But then what is the error here? Now the formulas within this column are not the same. They're not coherent. Why? Because each cell has its own formula. But we do not want that. We want the entire column to have the same formula. 1, because it is less work to maintain, and 2, it prevents any errors that can happen. So now what we can do is, so I'll say normal method, I'll say this as input, okay, and I'll say this is the array formula method. Okay, now the array formula method is, you'll say equal to array formula. Now Google Sheets will give you autocomplete hints. Array formula. Okay, now I'll say the range I2 colon I2 colon I4. So I want these 3 elements, this range of I2 colon I4, to be multiplied by 3 into 3. Now if you notice, both are going to be behaving the same when I change the value. Let's say I'll make this 111. Okay, both are behaving the same. But notice why these values are different. Why? Because I have to update it in the normal method. This is one of the disadvantages of not using array formula, because every time I want to change, let's say Anurag says make it into 33, then again I'll have to go in the normal method, update it and scroll it down, pull it down, which is a lot of work. Okay, and there is a possibility that you might make an error while doing this. The more manual effort there is, the more mistakes you can make. Hence we're going to be using an array formula. Okay, so now in array formula, if I do not, now array formula, I want it to go from I2 colon I want the entire column. Just, okay, if I add 10, 20, 30, if you notice, it's not updating anywhere. So in the normal method, what you would do is you will say copy paste the formula. Right, it gives a correct output. Now array formula, why isn't it giving it? You might be thinking why. It's because it's I2 colon I4. We have to say the entire range. So now we have to say I2 colon I7, and now we'll get the correct answer. But then again, this is more manual work. So every time I add a new row, I'll have to do this. I thought the whole point of array formula is to make it easier. That's what you're probably thinking. So what we can do is we'll make it I2 colon I. There's a problem with this as well. The problem is it'll put zeros everywhere. But that's not what we want. Let's analyze why could that be. So now when we say array formula I2 colon I into 33, what is happening is it's trying to find the value here. The value here is empty. So it's interpreting it as 0. It's multiplying it with 33 and giving the output as 0. But that's not valid. This column should not be 0. So what is the solution for that? This is not an official method. It's just something I came across. So I usually say is, I will check if those rows are blank or are they filled with some value. So we're going to use the if function and the is blank function. So if, okay, is blank, I'm going to check if I2 colon I are empty. If it is empty, I will say do nothing. If they are not empty, do something. Okay, the syntax of if is like this. Okay, if the syntax is a logical expression, okay, the first value if it is true, and the second value here, the do something, is value if it is false. Okay, this is the thing I love about Google Sheets, because it gives you multiple hints and it makes it easy. You don't have to memorize anything. So now if you see, we have segmented do something and do nothing. Perfect. Now I don't exactly want these do nothing values, so I will say leave it as empty. Okay, empty. Now it will make them blank. Perfect, like we want. Another advantage of array formula I forgot to mention before is if you accidentally add some value here, it will give an error, which is perfect. You might be like, Tahir, there is an error. How is that a good thing? The fact that you accidentally entered some value here, okay, let's just say 100, will give you an error which will immediately notify you that you did something that you're not supposed to do. The idea of array formula is if you change the formula in one place, it will change for the entire column. Okay.
Tahir, there are a few questions. I will tell it to you one by one.
Okay.
Thing is, first question is how does the VLOOKUP formula change if locations is in a different spreadsheet?
I will tell. This person didn't understand array formula. I'll come to VLOOKUP next.
Okay. So the next question. Okay. The next question also VLOOKUP only. Why do we put false for the VLOOKUP?
Yeah, I'll tell. I'll come to that. Don't worry, guys. I'm a pretty good teacher. I'm offended you're asking me now itself. Okay.
Third question is what
yeah.
is web scraping? And
Okay.
fourth one is just can you share the spreadsheet again?
Okay. It's in your mail. Anurag, can you take care of that?
Yeah, I will send this thing. Explain what web scraping is.
I will explain what web scraping is. Just remind me as soon as I finish this array formula explanation, I will explain what is web scraping. Okay? Okay. So now I want to do some operation. So I will say take column I2 colon I, take these values and multiply by 33. Now perfect. I'm getting the same thing. Now if let's say Anurag says I don't want it to be 33, I want it to be into 3. Now I immediately have to change in one location and updates everywhere. If I add a new row, let's say 35, I get the value. Perfect. No changing anywhere. But the normal method, I'll have to first change this into 3, then copy the formula, then go till the end, paste it. If I copy it down, there will be formula there, but see, there will be formula here, it will give you 0. All these errors are avoided using array formula. So that is the advantage of using array formula. If again, the explanation is not clear, I'm really sorry. Due to time constraints, I'll have to proceed. Just look up array formula online. This workshop is not meant to be comprehensive. It's just meant to give an idea of how you can make dashboards. Alright. There's an array formula. Anurag, what is the thing you wanted to ask? Web scraping, right?
Yeah, what web scraping is.
Okay, so what is web scraping? Now, if you go to the references sheet and you go to dataset for this event. So now this table is going to be dynamic. So today if England plays, I am not sure if England is playing today, but today if England plays, this will update as 5. And let's say if they score goals, this will update. Now if you want to create a live dashboard, what you want is you don't want to have to copy paste this value every day. So let's say I can just, I can take this and copy and, go to the sheet, paste this. But it's not a good long-term solution because every day I'll have to do this. Rather than that, we're going to be using a concept called web scraping. There's nothing better than Google. So let's look at Google. What is web scraping? Okay. So web scraping means fetching data from a web page. Alright. Fetching data from a website and extracting information from it. Okay. So now web scrape, what I've done, if you go to the web scraping sheet, is I have taken this link. Okay. I've taken this link and I've found the selector. I will show you if there is time. I will show you how to do this. Otherwise, maybe in a future workshop, I can continue this. I am saying, get this selector, find this in the web page and return me that list. So now if today England plays, my sheet will automatically update as the World Cup happens as well. So you can literally click file, make a copy and you will have a copy of this. Alright. Yes. I hope that explained web scraping and now I'll go back to the normal topic. Okay. So that is the concept of array formula and VLOOKUP, array formula and web scraping. Now I will be explaining those other questions. Okay. So the first question is, I asked you guys, I hope you were able to understand. Why is this giving an error here? I will come to why this is one, what is false, don't worry. But why is this giving not available? Can somebody tell me in the chat box? I put BPDC Manipal bits. Why is this giving /NA not available data? Says cannot find value in bits in VLOOKUP evaluation. Can anyone tell why? Bits value is not found in the second table. Perfect. Right. So what is the error here? This bits value is not in the table. So I will say bits. Okay. Now it found it. Hence it came. Now you might be thinking, dude, Tahir, this is useless. You just took up this value. You did VLOOKUP, all that just to return the same thing. Now this is where the magic of VLOOKUP comes in. So now I will explain why this is 1, why this is 2. Okay. First look at this. What does it say? This is the index. This is index. You can think of it like an offset. So if I click 1, it will, if I enter 1, it will give the same column that it was looking up. Okay. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. It's going to look for this in this. Okay. So now we want the second column, right? The column next to the BPDC. So if I click 2, it will give US. Okay. Now what is the error here? It will give an error because I'm saying the range. The range is no longer F2 colon F. Okay. It's no longer on just this column. We need data of this column as well. Why? because this US India is contained in G column, which I didn't specify. So I made a mistake. So it'll become F2 colon G. Now I'll get it. Perfect. But again, why isn't bits coming? It's because I have not mentioned here. Right? So if I say Dubai, it'll come automatically. So now let's just say the application. What this code could be the possible application. So again, let's say, because now let's talking about football. Let's say Cristiano Ronaldo, he was in Manchester United. Now let's just say he goes back to Juventus. Now all the game data of Cristiano Ronaldo, rather than going every row and changing Ronaldo's value from Man United to Juventus, you can do a VLOOKUP. And if you set the database correctly, it will remove a lot of manual effort. Now, and the question which we were asked is, why is this false? Okay. So again, let's just say I don't know. I do know, but let's say I do not know. Then what I would do is I will go to the formula, go to the cell, click the VLOOKUP formula, click the arrow, expand details, and find what does that mean. So what does it say? This is sorted. Okay. Now, if I read the documentation, it says, what is sorted? It's an optional argument. It indicates whether the column to be searched is sorted, in which case the closest match of search key will be returned. So that means if this was alphabetically sorted, it will make the VLOOKUP faster. But I usually tend to just put it false because I do not always care about performance. For me, the correct answer is more important than a bit slow answer. It will be a bit hectic to make sure all my lists are sorted, which is extra effort. So I would recommend just using this template. VLOOKUP, what values you're searching for, in which columns you're searching for that value, the offset address, the index, and always false. Just always keep it false. It just makes everything easier. Now let's just say Dubai, Manipal, India, and say bits Pilani. So now location has updated. Let's say I want the country. Okay. Now country, rather than, again, it's a similar kind of thing. Rather than mentioning it multiple times, I'll do a VLOOKUP for it as well. I will say now which location is Dubai in? It is in UAE. India. Okay, now I say, I think this is Mangalore. I'm not sure. It's in India. And Pilani is also in India. Now let's say I want, Anurag is asking me, Tahir, okay, fine. I want to know in GDSC who all are from India, who all are from US, etc. So now what I would do is I copy this formula. Okay, because it's going to be a similar thing. I'm going to look up this location, okay, Dubai, and find out its corresponding country. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to say look up D2 colon D, okay, D2 colon D in G2 colon I, okay, H2 colon I, because why? This Dubai value is in this column, right? So I want to say the first column should be the same columns of your range. So D2 colon D has Dubai, Mangalore, Pilani, those values, and H2 colon H, this column, has Dubai, Mangalore, Pilani, etc. Now I will say this and I will get the correct country. So this is the concept of VLOOKUP. Again, due to time constraints, I will have to proceed, and if you have any doubts, I do not have an issue explaining this at all at the end of the session. Alright, so we'll now proceed. Anurag, any questions?
Only one question is, how long is the workshop?
See, it was supposed to be 1.5 hours, but we are a bit late and I might have to skip a few concepts. If this is received with good feedback, we can do another follow-up workshop. I do not have an issue at all. Okay, so what's the next thing? We looked at VLOOKUP. Okay, this is just random formulas I just collected. This is not important for us. So now we did this VLOOKUP thing. Now to make it segmented, okay, I'm gonna move this into another sheet. Okay, locations, okay, city and country. Now I showed you how to do a VLOOKUP within the same sheet. Now this will give an error, or at least should give an error. I think it's from cache. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, this is a spreadsheet. So notice how I copied the values from here to my sheet. It immediately understood I did that. The range updated automatically. If you see here, locations A2 colon B, it automatically knew that I changed the spreadsheet. Alright. So if you say if I have to refer to a column within my sheet, within the same sheet, I will say A2 colon B. Just a minute. Really sorry. Okay. So if I want to refer to a value within my same table, I will just say A2 colon B. So if I try that here, it should give an error. Why? Because it will not be able to find it, right? So instead, what we're going to do is we'll have to say locations exclamation mark A2 colon B. Now this locations is the name of my spreadsheet where the other data is located. Okay. Now the cool thing about spreadsheets like Excel, Google Sheets, if you change the name of this other sheet, say I do not know Tahir, okay, it will automatically make sure everything is coherent. See, it updated here also. Okay. So I'll have to go to the next topic now. That was VLOOKUP. Now just another cool thing I will say. Let's say registered for GDSC. I want to see who all registered for GDSC. Okay. So I want to add a true or false value, but what would make it easier if it's a checkbox? So Google Sheets has a really cool feature. You click data validation, and say what is the criteria. It's going to be a checkbox. And I want to say if it's something else, I want to reject the input. Okay. It's just a random tip I wanted to give. If you ever want a checkbox, you will use this. So you will understand how this is useful later. Now we're gonna go use Google Sheet as a database. I will come to that now. So again, let's come to my notes. Okay. So there are multiple words you should know, such as what is a database, okay, what is a table, and what is a data warehouse, let's say. Now a table is a collection of rows and columns. So this is a table. So this basics sheet is a table. Okay. Now all these tables combined in this one Google Sheet act like a database. Now multiple Google Sheets, okay, let's say I have this World Cup dashboard Google Sheet, then I have, let's say, my finances Google Sheet or whatever. All this combined can be pretended to be as a data warehouse. A data warehouse, you can say, you can think of it as something like a collection of databases. Okay. Somebody asked me, can we use Google Sheets like a database? Now I'll come to that. Okay. Okay. So we're going to be using SQL queries now. Okay. So if you come to the reference cheat sheet, okay, it's quite similar to MySQL. And I said tips, put where call is not null whenever possible. I will come to that. Okay. So let's try a very basic SQL query. Okay. A2 colon G, select A, okay. So equal to query. I'm going to create a query. Now the first thing is data. What is your data source? It's going to be a range. So let's say I want B2 colon B. These are the names. Okay. Then you put a comma and then tell what is your query. So okay, so in SQL, for those who don't know, maybe you guys are in first year or second year. For those who do not know what SQL query is, SQL, okay, is a structured query language. Okay, a structured query language is used for getting data, reading, writing values from a database. Okay, data from a database. It is usually used, MySQL is mostly used for relational databases. A relational database is basically where data is stored in the forms of rows, columns, and each table can be related to another column using, let's say, joins, etc. Like how we use VLOOKUP. Okay. So let's just say I want to query this column. Okay. I want to find, I just want to get all the names. Okay. B2 colon B, select B. Now it will get me all the columns, all the values in this column. Now let's say I want to get all the colleges, maybe. So I'll say select D. Okay. I want you guys to find out what is wrong, what was kind of inconvenient about the approach I took. Okay, just think for a minute. What was inconvenient? I did something twice. I had to change something twice when updating this formula. I will do it again. So let's say I want the location. I'll say E2 colon E, select E. Can somebody comment what was something was repetitive in this? Somebody commented? Okay, no issues. I will tell. Somebody, you changed for in the select and column formula. Perfect. You changed for each row. Correct. Perfect.
Also, one more thing.
Yeah.
One guy said, could you explain web scraping again?
I'm really sorry, but Anurag, I don't think we can do that now. Yeah, it's already late.
Yeah, fine. If there's an issue, we can have another session for web.
Yeah, no issues. Or I'll send the recording. We will send the recording. Please refer to that. All right.
Also, when I asked what CSV is.
What is?
CSV.
What is CSV?
Yep.
Okay, so like, I'm sorry, but did I ever mention CSV?
I don't know.
Just reply, bro. Just use Google, bro. I don't know. CSV means comma separated values. Okay. So from Google, it's a type of spreadsheet format. Okay. So right, let's say this basics Google sheet. If I say file, download, and say download as comma separate values. Okay. Now I can open this. Okay. Arey, forgot browser doesn't open. A comma separated values spreadsheet is basically where it's a spreadsheet where the backend text file is just comma separated. If I go to desktop, open with notepad, it's just text. If you see, they are comma separated. Each column is separated by a comma. I'm really sorry, I would like to explain again, but we don't have time. So yes, that's the CSV. So now let's query. Two people, Jannat and Layashrish, they both said I had to change E in both places. Exactly. So a thing which is not exactly the official method is basically you can have something called a subquery in Google Sheets. Okay. Subquery is in SQL also. In Google Sheets, a subquery is basically where you use query formula twice like this. Okay. So you say equal to query. So you query the query. So let's just say I want all the colleges. So D2 colon D. Now I will say select call 1. Okay, this is really important. Queries are really important when using Google Sheets. So I am going very slowly. If you have any doubts, ask in the forum. Okay. So if I say this, perfect. Now if I want location, I will just have to say E2 colon E. Perfect. I don't have to change it again and again. So rather than saying colon A, B, C, D, and if you change, it's going to be hectic. You're going to just using select call 1, select call 2. So if I want select call 1 and call 2, I will say like this. Perfect. So notice how because of this one formula, I'm getting 2 columns of values. This is amazing. This is why we use queries. So if I have, I want to just display all the values from A till G, A2 colon AG, I will say select. Instead of saying select call 1, call 2, call 3, I'm just going to be saying select star. Perfect. It gave me all the values. Now the advantage of query is that you're not affecting the original table. You're not going to be using any filters. That is the advantage of query. Now if I delete this column, it will reflect here also. Notice how that blank column disappeared. Okay. So now what is the advantage of using query? You can do many operations. Let's just say I want to find I want to display this ordered. Okay. So I will say select star order by, okay, call 1. Or I say call 2. Ascending order of their name. Okay. Can anybody guess what the error was? I know, don't worry. Why is this going somewhere else? Can anybody guess why my query result went to the bottom? I'll give you a hint. The range is A2 colon F. Anurag, can you answer?
No.
Okay. So what is happening here is when I say query A2 colon F, even these blank rows are included in that. You see, this is being included. Hence, it is thinking, okay, this blank is also part of your data. How will it know if it is not or not, if it isn't, if it is or if it isn't? Hence, we have to use a where clause. A where clause is basically like for filtering. Okay. If you guys have any more doubt, and I'm going to stick to very simple queries. If you have more doubts, I can share a SQL guidebook. Okay. Also in the references sheet, I've shared Google query documentation. And if you click that, it has explanation of everything you need to know. All right. Okay. So basic. Yeah. So the issue with here is it's considering blank space. So I'll say select star where call 1 is not null. Okay. Perfect. We got it. So what does this mean? I'm saying select all the rows. Okay. That means select all the rows where the column 1, their values is not empty, and order them by column number 2 values. Okay. Now the advantage again of a query, let's say Anurag is like, bro, for GDSC I don't want it name wise, I want it college wise. So I just have to change one thing, order by column 3. Notice how I'm not using any filters. This is so elegant because I'm not working with the original data. If I make some kind of error in the calculations here in my query, this will never affect the original data. Okay. So I am going to copy this to a new sheet to show how powerful this is. Okay. Basic sheet. Okay. Now this will give an error obviously because we did not put the table name. So I will say basics exclamation mark. Perfect. So now notice how this came false, 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 false. Now if I let's say toggle something, let's say Tahir and Anurag or let's say Dhruv update register for GDSC. If I go to the other sheet, it updates at true. What is the power of this? Now let's see. I want to find who all are members of GDSC, who all registered to be GDSC members. So I will say display all the details. Select star, where call 1 is null, not null. Order by call 3. Perfect. I'm going to add another option, another filter to the where clause and say and call 5 equal to true. Is true? Call 6 equal to true. Okay, call 6. This is column number 6. Okay, F, A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah, 6. Call 6 equal to true. Perfect. So again, what is the advantage of this? It has massive implication. Let's say Dhruv unregistered for some reason and Anmol registered as a member. It'll update here as well. Perfect. So now do you understand the power of Google Sheets, power of SQL in general? And we're using in Google Sheets because it's very easy. Now we can all collaborate. We don't have to share code and then add it to GitHub and all this extra work. Okay. Now let's look at some mathematical function. Let's say they're marks, I don't know, bro. Marks in math. Okay. Let's say 10, 20, 15, 11, 10.
One question is there that could you explain how marking in one sheet is affecting true false in another sheet?
Yes, I will explain.
And another question is what does call 1 exactly mean?
Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't explain. I assumed it was obvious. My bad. So I'll explain the call 1 thing. Call 1 stands for column number 1. So it is inputting this range. Okay. And for this, it's gonna query with column 1 means column A. Column 6 will be column F. Right? It's just that. Call 1 just stands for column 1. And just something to remember is I used to get this error a lot and I used to struggle. So I used to put column C small. This is very inconvenient and Google Sheets they should improve this. They have to improve. It says no column call 1, which is confusing. If error detection was a bit better, it'd be amazing. So you have to make sure call C is capital. So call 1 stands for column 1. Okay. Now the other question is how is marking true here marking the other place? So what is happening here is checking this box is indirectly behind the scenes putting is at true. You don't even have to use this checkbox. Okay. I'll show you. If I just put true, this and this are equivalent. It's just that Google Sheets is showing it as a button because I said data validation criteria as checkbox. It's just easy to use. Like, come on, if I give you a Google Sheets and I'm saying add values, enter some values here, you won't go and put true everywhere. You won't type it out. It's easier for you to put tick. That's why you put this checkbox. So now this true is queried by the other query. This one here. I'm saying select star. Okay. So if I just do select star, okay, I am getting all the values from basics table from the range A to till F. So if you can see, it's true. Okay. So now I'm saying only show me the ones which are true. So I'm saying where call 1 is not null. That means the row is not empty. And I'm saying and call 2 is equal to call 6 equal to true. Now let's just say I don't want all the details. Now again another powerful feature of Google Sheets. I don't want all the values. I'll just say call. I just want their name and maybe their college. Perfect. I just have Anmol from BITS, Tahir from BPDC, Anurag from Manipal. Alright. This is how we select.
Question.
Yeah.
Gayas, can you use direct column names rather than column 1?
Yeah, I did explain that, no? See.
Okay.
I will have to speed up a little. This is the last thing. After this, if you need any repetition, please refer to the video that we will share. Okay. So it says again, now if you do single query, okay, select A. It works. Select B. So you can say BCD. It's just that if you say query of query, then it is not having access to the name of the column because this query function gets input as this query function. So in this, when it takes the input, it does not have the, what is it? Because it is not necessary this is going to be A. Let's say this is, let's say C2 colon F. This could be anything. See. Hence, if you are doing a subquery, this is different from what I did. You know what? I do not want to confuse you guys. I'll explain in future workshop. Anurag, I'll skip this, yeah, because it might confuse them if I explain this a lot.
It's fine. It's fine. If there are a lot many questions regarding certain specifications, we can do another workshop on these specific things later on.
Okay, fine. So yeah, just just stick to this format. This is what I would recommend. Okay. So now, now you might be like, okay, fine, this is cool and all, but the title is missing. I don't want to have typo the title again. The trick for that is you say query A colon F. So and this is going to include the title as well. See, A2 colon F means I excluded the initial title of the basics table. I will say A colon F will include the title. Just to make sure that sometimes there might be some error to this query function argument. Okay, I'll show you. If you go to the query function document, it says what data, what your query is, that is that select star from blah blah blah, and then do you or do you not want headers? Now headers, this is an optional argument. The number of header rows at the top of the data. If omitted, it is set to -1. The values get guessed based on the content of the data. But if you want headers, I would always recommend putting comma 1. Right? This will make sure the header comes perfectly and it doesn't get sorted it doesn't get involved in your sorting process. Just to avoid errors, explicitly mention that this basics A colon F range, the first row contains the header. Okay. Now let's look at some quantitative data. Quantitative data means numerical data. See, this is true or false. Okay. It's not quantitative. It's not a number. It's qualitative. Okay. I don't want to get into details. I just want to give some tip. So now I want to find in this. Okay. Let's say I'm a teacher. I am a student, and I have a bunch of students. I want to find who all got more than 15 marks in the exam. Okay. Now I will say is equal to query. Okay. Select call 2, comma call 3, where call 1 is not null, and call 7 greater than 15. Now it will give you an error. Why is that? It's because I did not update the range. See, this marks in math, it is in G column, but here I did not update that. Okay. So I will say A colon G. Now it comes perfectly. So these are the people who got more than 15. To make it a bit more easier, let's add their marks also. Call 3, call 7. Perfect. Right. So now if I change this, let's say Tahir got, somehow he went to the teacher and he got like 12 marks, it will update here as well. Oh wait, Tahir got less than 15. So Tahir somehow got greater than 15, so 18. Now Tahir will come on this list as well. Perfect. Okay. So now, what else can I say? Some basic queries I just want to show. Now let's just say marks in math. I just somehow, maybe in our college, if a exam is 15%, it's basically 30 marks. Okay. So now if this is my marks in math, I want to calculate what is the percentage I got from this exam. So that means what? I'll have to divide this exam marks by 2. Okay. So the normal way you would think is take like 18, this F2 divided by 2, then copy, paste. But that's just not what we're going to be doing. We are smarter than that and we're going to use queries. So select call 2, call 3, call 7, comma, call 7 time divided by 2. Ta-da! Now it gives an ugly title, and that's going to be the next thing. How do we label the columns of the query output? Okay. Now I will say, so select where, and then I will say label. Okay. Now this is another parameter in Google Sheets query, which you can check in the documentation which I have shared. Okay. Label. I want to label call 7 by 2, this column, as something. I will label it as, let's say, percentage of final grade. Ta-da! Now look how easy this is. I am not at all manipulating the original data. This ensures that there is no errors while finding some calculation, right? So you might be like, what is the application of this? So the application of this is, for example, I am in Bits Motorsports, okay, BMS. In that, let's just say the guy in the engine calculations, the guy or a girl is in the engine calculations, and they are typing some values. They put, let's say today I tested on this date, the engine horsepower, the tested horsepower was like 89 horsepower. Tomorrow, let's say he tests and it is like 90 horsepower. Rather than updating the formulas and everything, each person gets a designated sheet to work with. with. So let's just say he puts on 11th Okay, horsepower was, let's say, 89. On 12th, okay, it was 90. So all the calculations are separated for him in a way that he just has to see a dashboard at the end. Okay, I now will go to that, how to start doing dashboards. Okay, any doubts so far, Anurag?
I don't think so. Let me check once more, but I don't think.
Okay, let's just take a small pause.
Yeah.
I'll just drink some water. 1 minute.
Okay, you're taking a small pause.
Yeah, it'll take
And
like
there's
five
just
minutes.
one thing I wanted
Yeah,
to ask,
yeah.
not related to this thing. Some guy is a huge fan of the this thing you are using, the board you are using for teaching.
Oh, the board. Okay.
Yeah, what is
It's
it?
I'll tell us at the end of the meeting. Can you?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
like
That's what I
incentive
said.
for all of you guys to wait till the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. I'm back. So now let's look at how we can use this for some real dashboard. So let's just say I want to get I don't want to filter to people who got greater than 15. I want to just see everybody's values. Okay. So in the class, let's say these people, I want to get some summary out of this. So now I will say I want, let's say, how many people. A good thing about writing queries is that you start with a question. Let's say how many people attended the exam, right? So now we're gonna be doing a different type of SQL query. So I will say equal to query. Okay. Again, to avoid that double entry of columns and all, I'm doing a subquery. Now, what is my data source? My data source is going to be basics sheet colon A2 colon G. Doesn't matter for now. And I'm saying select star. This is how I usually write a SQL query before I implement the logic where call1 is not null. So I got all the values. Now I want to find how many people came for this exam. So how many people came? So I'm just going to split this into multiple lines. Okay. So I'm going to say select, okay, count of call to. One thing I forgot to mention is that you guys can follow along, make a Google sheet yourself right now and try to follow along if possible. For those of you who don't understand, no worries. You can always watch a YouTube video and then follow along. Okay. So this is giving an ugly title count. So let's change that. The label count of call1. I want to name this as number of students at exam. So now I have successfully answered this question. How many people attended the exam? Number of students at the exam is 5. So now I'll remove this because now I've answered a question. Now this is how you go about when you make a dashboard. So Alhamdulillah, I got the great opportunity of working at Emirates, right, for my PS. And one of my colleagues, he was explaining how he makes a dashboard. And he was lovely, so nicely he was explaining. When he makes a dashboard, he first thinks, what is important? What is the questions to be answered, right? Now, in this, if I want to make some summary out of this, I want to get some insights. The whole point of the concept of data science is you take some data, you take some values that are just dumped to you, get useful information out of it, which you can use it for something, right? So first question, you think of questions and get solutions for them. So if I want to see how many people attend the exam, number of students at the exam is 5. Okay. So now let's just say another question I have is, was the exam too hard? Was it too easy? So I will say, I will take the average. Okay. I will say call 6 average mark. What is the error? Yeah. Oh yeah, my bad. Average of call 6. Column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry. Column number 7. Average mark. So it looks pretty reasonable. Okay, 16.8 doesn't really tell immediately what is it. So you know what, let's say average marks with respect to percentage. So average marks percentage of total. Percentage with respect to total. So what is that? What would that be? The total was 20, right? Now one thing you have to notice, the title of this, the label should be the same as what you're selecting. Otherwise Google Sheets will not be aware, because it's like you're trying to display average of call 7 divided by 20, but you're labeling average of call 7 even though it's not even being displayed. Hence you have to be very careful in this. I faced a lot of errors when I started learning this. Okay. 0.84, that doesn't make sense. What does that mean? 0.84. Now the thing is 0.84 is basically 84%, but it's giving us in decimal. but that's not very readable. So what let's do is we'll convert that. Now that's the next argument we're going to learn about. It's going to be format. Okay, I'm saying format this value after, yeah, percentage. Yes, perfect. So what does this mean? So there is a strict hierarchy, a strict order in which these operations happen. So first you have to click select, then you have to type where, then you have to type label, and then the format. Format is always going to be the last thing. So rather than multiplying and doing into 100%, Google Sheets has this format to automatically do it. So what am I doing here? I'm saying the format of this column I am displaying is going to be as follows. Okay, I'm saying so single quotes represents a string. Okay, I'm saying single quotes hashtag. Hashtag is a digit, is basically a number. So if I want to hit decimal point, I will say hashtag dot hashtag. So it's giving with the decimal point. Now percentage means if I put percentage, it will automatically convert this average of call 7 by 20 into a percentage rather than me going and then multiplying into 100, etc. So let's say you want some more space, you want blah blah blah. Okay, percentage. Okay, this looks perfect. 84.0 percentage. But let's say for me the decimal point doesn't matter, so I'm just gonna say hashtag percentage. Okay, perfect. So now let's create some kind of a dashboard from this. Okay, I will select this data. I'll say insert chart. By default, it gives me some chart which I do not want. Let's just say I just want to see bar chart, horizontal bar chart. Okay, and I do not want to see what is their marks in math. I just want to see relative. How many? What is like the marks out of the total? So I will say remove. Okay. So now what is going to be the label? The label is not going to be college. I'm going to say the label is going to be their name. So Tahir got, okay, Tahir got this much percentage. Anurag got this much. Dhruv got this much. Anmol got this much. But it looks wrong. It's going from 0 to 4 till 10. What could that be? So let's check. Percentage of final grade. Yeah, this is percentage of final grade, not percentage of the total marks in the exam. So let's change the query. Okay, it's not divided by 2. It will be divided by 20 times 100. Okay, and I have to change the label as well. Okay, so Tahir got 90% of the exam total. Anurag got 100% of total. Okay, so Dhruv got 75, etc. Now I'm displaying, perfect. It came 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. But something is missing here. If I show this to a random person, they wouldn't understand this. So one of the tips that the data scientists at Emirates gave me is, if you show your dashboard to a random person, they should be able to understand. That's how simple it should be. So this looks a bit clumsy. Let's change a few things. So what is the title? Let's change it. So I will show step by step. So you click your chart, 3 dots, edit chart. Okay. Now I want to customize the title. So I will say chart and access titles. Chart title is what? Students, marks of students.
Tahir,
yeah.
Can you repeat this thing? The chart editor.
Chart editor. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Just one thing. Yeah, it's already 7:53. Is that okay with you guys? I don't mind explaining. Can I extend this?
I think you can increase by 15-20 minutes.
Okay. So again, you can either click the chart, 3 dots, edit chart, or you can just double click and it'll come. This is easier. I don't know why I didn't say that first. So double click the chart. Okay. So then it'll be in setup or customize. You click customize and say chart and access titles. Now chart title, let's give a descriptive name. Marks of students in math exam. Okay. Now is this right? Marks of students in math exam? Not really. Why? Because this is their percentage. Okay. So percentage of students in math exam. You have to be very careful when you're making these kind of graphs. It should not be misleading, right? Somebody is depending on this for their analysis. Okay, so I just like to remove these kind of distracting elements like these lines. Okay, major glare lines. I just turn them off, and then I remove this as well. I do not want that. It says item cannot be deleted. So what I'll do is I will just click this graph part, and then I will extend this so it is hidden. Might be like, Tahir, okay, fine, this is nice and all, it looks beautiful, but like, I don't understand how much each person got. Now that's where we'll add labels. Okay. So you hover over your graph, okay, click this. Now when you double click the bar, the line or whatever, it will take you the title here. Now we will say add data labels. Okay, perfect. It looks nice, but it looks kind of jarring to look at. Okay, 90, 100 here, 75. So what we'll do, let's change the position. Let's change the position as inside base. They're all next to each other. Okay. Till here, this is like, okay, very normal bar graph. You probably did this in school or whatever. But how can we improve this further? Let's think. The first thing is, usually in a bar graph, it's usually sorted. Why? Because most people just look at a few things. They don't have time to go through the entire thing. So what we will say is, we will sort this. I will say order by call 7. If I do order by call 7, it's doing ascending order. But I do not want ascending order. I want to see who the toppers are. So that is the thing. Now if we want in descending order, we say order by call 7 space DESC. DESC stands for descending order. Okay, descending. Perfect. We have now generated our graph dynamically. So if you want to do this, you can click the 3 dots and say move to own sheet. I don't usually use this, but it is an option. Okay, an entire sheet will just be this dashboard. So how is this useful? Let's say this is the only thing that matters. Okay, for me, I just want to see this only every day. So I will just say, copy the chart or something. And let's say a new student joins my class. Tell me some name. Okay, Ahmed. Yeah, that's my other name. So Ahmed is in bits, Pilani, and etc. And let's say he got, okay, I ran out of memory because I'm recording. Okay, so let's say Ahmed is in bits, okay. And did he register with GDSC? No. And let's say he got 15. Okay, let's say 18. Okay. If you now go to the chart, you will see that Ahmed is also in it. This is amazing. Why? Because if you notice the entry, the data, the raw data is separated from your analysis. So somebody like me, if let's say I'm the teacher and I need to pass it to the supervisor or something, rather than giving them this data, I can just show them this dashboard. This is the advantage of Google Sheets, where now rather than me mailing somebody, let's say I have a teaching assistant, I can tell the teaching assistant to do it also. You can collaborate. I can just click share, okay, and then I can just add their name. Say I want to add Anurag as an editor. I say Anurag Kumar Jha. I click him and say I'll add him as an editor. I'll notify him also. This is very convenient. So this is the biggest advantage of Google Sheets over Excel. From what I know, Excel is more powerful with more formulas. But the biggest advantage I believe with Google Sheets is one, the query function, which is not available in Excel. And the second biggest feature is collaboration. Right. Yes. Any doubts so far? Hello?
No, there's no doubts.
Okay. So sorting. You guys can go through this. This workshop is meant to be as a reference, just to get an idea, not meant to be comprehensive. These are like my favorite tips and tricks to do subqueries and all. You guys, the one thing I would recommend is, especially when you're learning SQL or just anything related to computer science or just anything in life, just keep trying it out and then you will figure it out. Okay. This is how you import your database into Python. If I want to generate a series, okay. This is not important because we are limited in time and we can extend by 15 minutes. I will show you the web scraping thing. Okay. So we're gonna be learning about web scraping here, not the details, but just the overview. Delete. Hide. Okay. So now this is the data we got from that website. This website. Okay. So all this data, rather than me copy pasting it every day, we're going to be extracting them directly using this formula. So I would have loved to explain this, but again, we do not have time. So maybe in a future workshop, I can go just a workshop in Google web scraping in Google Sheets. I would love to do that. But let's just say I got all this data. Let's just focusing on making a live dashboard. So I will now create a query sheet. Okay. I'll say equal to query. Now what am I going to query? I am going to query which table? Web scraping. Scraping table, column A till, I will just check what is there. Okay, A till E. So now I have a copy of this data and I'm going to do queries on these. So as of now, I did select star. Okay, now I give a big tip that always do select star where call 1 is not null to avoid any complications, because it will then ignore the blank spaces. It'll ignore these rows when you do where call one is not null. Okay. So now I want to find in this World Cup which team has scored the most goals, right? So I will say, what is the maximum number of goals? Let's say select max of call 3. Okay. Why call 3? Because this is column 1, column 2, column 3. Goals scored. I will try to find the maximum. So I say select max of call 3. Where okay. Which is 12. Exactly correct. Okay. I will add it as a different column. Right. Okay. Now max goals scored. But this doesn't really tell us much. So let's do another query. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a cool trick. So this is the maximum goal scored in the World Cup. Now let's find which team scored this. Right. We need to know that as well. Right. Just knowing what is the maximum is not always useful. So I will say equal to query. Okay. I'll just copy the query here. Okay. Now I'm saying select call 2. Why call 2? Why call 1? Because column 1 is the team column. This is what I want. Select call 1, where call 1 is not null, and call 1 equal to 12. Okay. Why is this giving an error? Just give me a minute. Okay, call 1, where call 1 is not null, and call 1 equal to... Oh yeah, I'm dumb. What is the mistake I made here? Can somebody tell me? I'm giving you free permission to roast me, so come on. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be call 2. No, here it's gonna be call 3 because I want to find which team has scored the most goals scored. And it's in column C. Column C is column number 3. So I'm gonna check where column 3 is equal to 12. Okay. So initial thought, you must be like, oh, only England scored, but actually Portugal also scored 12 goals. So these two have scored the maximum number of goals. Okay. So there's something wrong with this. Can somebody tell me what is the issue here? In this line, there's something wrong. The column number. Okay, that's for something else, I guess.
People are saying it's syntax error.
Not syntax error. There's no error. Perfect. I actually got it. You are mentioning 12. Remember, I said our goal is to make a dashboard that is completely dynamic. That means tomorrow, if I open this a spreadsheet and I go to my dashboard that I'll be showing you, it should have updated. But if tomorrow today England scores 3 goals or something, this max will change. So this is no longer the correct value if I mention call 3 equal to 12. So what is the solution for that? Let's think. What we can do is in Google Sheets, we can add a cell within a query. I'll explain. Do not worry. I just want to show what the output will be first. Ta-da! So now, hypothetically, I can't do that. Okay, hypothetically tomorrow, if England scores 3 goals, the maximum number of goals will be 15. And that value will be here. Okay, it will become 15. And then this will also automatically update. So notice how once we program this, right, we do not have to change anything. It is completely dynamic, right? Anurag, any questions?
One day is asking that why is there a log symbol next to the references in web scraping?
Log symbol.
Log symbol in the spreadsheet you shared.
Okay. That's because see, I have shared it to all you guys. There's another feature of this Google Sheets. Is that now because I shared it to everybody, anybody with a link can see this. I want to make sure that even though you guys are commenters, I just want to make sure that by mistake, none of you get any access and maybe make a mistake in the sheet and then make an error, right? To prevent that, what I've done is I've said protect this sheet. Okay. So what does this mean? So let's say I have some important data. No one should edit this. Okay, so let's just say I want GDSC to edit this. Okay, don't worry, this is not off topic. It's just that we didn't have time to do this, so I'll do this now. Editor, save. Now GDSC will be an editor. GDSC account, Google Developer Student Club's account, can edit this sheet. But let's say in particular, I do not want them to edit this sheet. I just want them to edit some other sheets. So to protect this, I will say, I will click this draw arrow, protect sheet. And I will say important. I'll give a title for protecting this. So set permissions. Now I'm saying who all can edit this. As of now, both can edit. I'm saying no, only you can edit this, as in only Tahir. Only I can edit this. Just make sure, even though people can access this Google Sheet, even though they are editors, they can't edit a particular table. Okay? Anurag?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, the guy says that he has to go He has to go to pray. So could you just share the whiteboard detail?
Okay, fine. This is going off topic so much. Okay. So this is called draw.io. Okay. This application I'm using is called draw.io. It's open source. You can find it on GitHub, and I downloaded it. Okay. The cool thing about this is using something called as an SVG format. So JPG, PNG, all these are different image formats. This is going to be using an SVG. So if I edit this, okay, I draw a line. Okay, save this. I go to my desktop and I open this on my browser. Open with Brave. Okay. Notice how this is completely sharp. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. Okay, it's very sharp. Now I added, let's say, the cool feature about draw.io, it has autosave. Okay, so now if I add another thing here and I say Control S, okay, I refresh the page. Ta-da! It updates here as well. So yeah, thank you for attending and hope this was fun. Yeah, so for the others I will continue now. Perfect. So now I found the maximum goal scored is 12 and the teams are England and Portugal, and I want to find the minimum goal scored as well. So I'll say select min of call 3. Okay. Min of call 3 is 1. Some teams scored 1. Okay, and let's find who it was. Call 3 equal to I. Okay, perfect. So Belgium scored. What? Belgium scored only 1 goal. Okay, so Belgium, Denmark, Qatar, Tunisia, and Wales scored only 1 goal. Right now, okay, fine. I need G2 here, but maybe I do not need this max goal scored. What if I'm just giving a use case so I can show you another feature of Google Sheets? Maybe I don't need this. I just want the teams that scored the maximum number of goals. So I will say label call 1 teams that scored max goals. I don't want to see this 12 thing hypothetically. So what I would do is I would take this query as it is. Okay, this will give an error because it can't find G3. G3 is empty. Now what we'll do is we'll just put the formula here directly. Can't I? I remember doing this before. Okay, maybe we can't. My bad. I just remembered doing it. I will update in the next workshop maybe. Okay. So now that we found the teams that scored the maximum goals and teams that scored the minimum goals, does anybody have any questions we can do in this? Any ideas? I obviously have some ideas, but I want you guys to think about something we can do to this. You guys want to find any query? Put it on the forum or in the chat box. You want to find something?
Argentina wins the World Cup.
Arey yaar. Brazil. Okay.
Not mine. I am Portugal supporter. Someone said in this thing.
Okay. Fine. So okay, I'm assuming nobody has any response. So I am going to create some kind of a graph from this. Okay. I'll just take 1 more minute break. Yeah, my throat is spinning. Okay. So now let's make a graph similar to the one we made there. Now let's make a dashboard. You know what? Let's make a dashboard. Okay. So I want to summarize this World Cup. So I will create a sheet, rename dashboard. Okay. Now I will say create. I will just select these 2 rows. Insert chart. Okay. Now this is a very weird looking thing. Why could that be? Let's see. I just want to create a dashboard where it shows the values in like bubbles like this. So what could be the thing? I want you guys to tell in the chat box what could be the thing. What is missing here? It is hello. Anybody has a response? What is missing here? Okay, I'm gonna do it. So it's the slice label that this 12 value is missing. The slice label, I'll say value. So 12 came, and I don't know why black on blue looks ugly. So let's just change that. Text color white. Okay, and I'll just do some formatting. I'll say 16 size or 30 size. Okay. Again, I told our chart should have a very nice title. So I will say the title text will be maximum goals scored at FIFA World Cup 2022. Or maybe if the title is too big, we can change this to the subtitle. Okay. These are things you should focus when working on dashboards. It's not just the SQL part in the programming. Your dashboard should be so concise and clear that anybody should be able to understand this. Alright. So maximum goal scored. Now I will say Control C. That is, I'm gonna copy this. Okay. Copy the chart or select it and say Control C. Go to the dashboard and paste it here. Okay. And I'll delete it from here. Now we don't need this. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's reuse it. I don't want to do this again. So I'm gonna use this and show the minimum number of goals. Okay. So I'm gonna select the setup. I'm just gonna say the data range is okay. J3, J2 colon J.
People are saying they need to go to dinner, so we need to wrap up in 5 minutes.
Okay, fine. J2 colon 3. Now this is the minimum number of goals. Minimum number of goals. Good. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna copy this. Okay, I'm gonna do a speed run. I'm not gonna explain. You guys just watch then. Now I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna create a query, and I'm gonna say display the teams that have scored more than 10 goals. Where call one is and call 3 greater than 10. I'll say 8. Okay, I'm gonna display these teams. Select, insert, start. Yeah. I'm gonna create. I prefer horizontal dashboards. So setup. Okay, and I only want the goal scored. Remove. So I will name this as maybe top scoring teams. Scoring teams. Okay, and I do not want this, so I'm gonna delete it. Okay, I do not want this. I will try to delete it, but it says item can't be deleted. So I take this, move this out, remove the major git lines. Okay, move this up a little. Top scoring teams. Now then copy, paste. I did copy, paste. Oh yeah, what is this? Copy chart. Okay. Top scoring teams. Now what is missing here? The data label is missing. Okay. Position, I'm gonna make it inside base. Now you see we have a pretty simple dashboard here. Okay. And tomorrow, as the World Cup proceeds, this will update as well. So just one last tip I want to give is that the font I usually use for all my projects is so I what I usually do is I select all, okay, using Control A, horizontal align, vertical align, okay, and I use Montserrat font, and I use 10 font size. That's just my preference, and I think it's nice for everybody to use as well. It keeps everything consistent and looks nice. So just to make it colorful, so maximum number of goals is like, it's good, so let's just add a color and make this green. Okay, and minimum number of goals is kind of bad, so we'll make it like red, just to signify what is good, what is bad. And yeah, this looks fine. I think that's it. If anybody has any more questions, we can continue or we can wrap it up. And I would love, if you guys really like this, we can do another follow-up session where I go into more detail. Okay, anyone has any questions?
I don't think even that channel there's no questions. I think we
Okay.
can wrap it up.
Okay, so just a minute. I'll turn on the camera. Yes. So thank you for attending this. You have all the resources shared to you, and if you're a member, you would have already gotten this. If you're a non-member, you can always contact us for this. You can make a copy of the dashboard sheet I've made, and yes, all the best. Okay, we'll end. Yeah, Anurag.
Yeah, we can. Thank you
Okay.
guys. Thank you,
Bye
everyone. Thank you
bye.
guys.